Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and today we're going to do a double pocket card. So it's kind of like a double fold, like it folds in and it creates several pockets. And I know people are going to go, and what am I going to use this card for, Jen? Because there's so much going on in it. If I pull out all the tags here, you can see that there's a pocket in the front here, and then there's a pocket in the back, right? And so you can put all this fun stuff in there. So one thing you could do for this is, like, if you've got a group of friends that are giving to somebody, everyone can write their own little sentiment on these cards, and those can go in there. Another thing would be if you're going in on a gift for somebody, you know, for whatever, you can put little pockets on here and put your money in there and give that to them. They can be like birthday cards, anniversary cards, anything that you want that follows a theme. So each one of these would have a different theme, or a different little sentiment on it, and then you could write things in here or maybe add in poems. They could be little gift recipe cards where you put some little recipes on these cards and give it to somebody. They can definitely be personalized. Obviously you could put their name and stuff on all these little tags and little things that you pop in here. Very versatile type of card. Also, if you do something like this, it'll also go flat for mailing. So it stands up a little bit, but it can flatten out for mailing, depending on how you put your stuff on. Here's another one that I made also. It says, "You are my boy and you are loved." So you can also use these as like a mini, either like maybe coupons for your child, like you did something good, so you know this is good for one free pizza night with mom, or pizza night with dad, or I'm going to take you to the arcade for an hour, something like that, you know. Otherwise it could be sort of a mini album where you put in little pictures in here and then you give it to someone else. So maybe somebody in your family doesn't get to see your son as much, or your daughter, however you put your card together. You could put some pictures on here and send it to them, and that way they've got a little album and a little reminder of that the fact that they're growing up, right? So lots of really unique and cool ideas that you can do with this. You can make it your own. Let me go back and see. We've got Vicky R here, Carolyn, Monica, Sharon, Kathy, Barbara, Debbie, Elise, Christina, Wanda, Linda, and Penny. Hey everybody, thanks for being here. So I'm going to start right from the get-go on how to make this. I've got my trimmer here, and this is a super duper easy card to make. It looks complicated, I know, but it's not. Most of it's just made up. And you need one piece of cardstock to make the whole, like, part of the card base. All right, that's it. 8.5 by 11 sheet of white cardstock, and you're going to fold it in half, what I call the hot dog way, which is the long skinny way, at 4 1/4, which should be right at the end of this, so that they match. You should have two 11 by 4 1/4 sheets after you cut it. Okay, just like that. And don't walk this away yet, because you're going to need it. This is just my paper that I'm going to use for decorating. And you're going to fold each one right in half. Some of you guys are saying you don't get notified. I don't understand that. I don't understand why people don't. I actually set this up and set up the notification a day in advance. Hi, Jamie. And I'm going to fold this one in half. So the reminder should have went out to everybody is what I'm saying, because I set this up, I don't know, at least a day ago, maybe 2 days ago. All right, so this is what's going to happen. These are going to overlap. So I'm going to open them back up. And these two in the middle, just like this. So Barbara says she also got notified in her Gmail, same as Kathy Godwin, a notification in their Gmail, and then you just click on the picture and it takes you right to the video. Christina got notified. That's awesome. So maybe you can let the people know that aren't getting notified how to do that. So you click on subscribe, and then it'll give you a little bell notification. And I think that's how you're getting the emails. Am I correct? So these two middle ones, are going to overlap like this. These on the outside are going to flip-flop in. But before we do that, we want to cut this one in half and this one in half. And I'm going to show you. That's what makes this first front part. Sometimes it's easier to see what it looks like before you get going. So let me just pull these out. That's what's going to make this part right here, when these two flip over. Okay, so we're going to cut from the top down and the top down. I'm just going to line that up right in my trimmer. The top on one side and the bottom on the other, and cut. All right, I'm going to put that back in place so you can see that was top down. The next thing we're going to do is take this side and cut it from top down, going the other way. You'll know what I mean when you try this card and you cut it from top down the same way on both sides. Okay, so you can save these if you want to use them for another project. And then when you put them together, they should both be top down on either side. Okay, so when this one folds in and this one folds in, that's where the first pocket's going to come from. The second pocket's going to come from where we overlapped these two. That next pocket's going to be in between these two things. And what I've gone and done is cut one of mine. I cut a little bit smaller. Do you see that? So you can see this part right here to separate the two. And the other one that I did, hey Peggy, I cut it almost exactly the same. So it's hard to see it, but there is a second pocket there. Okay, so if you want to be able to see that second pocket, you're going to want to cut your little V a little bit differently than what I did on that one. So there's all kinds of little tricks to cutting your V in the second one. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. So somewhere in here, you're going to want to cut a little V or cut something to find that second one. I'm just going to take like a circle punch, and I'm just going to circle punch mine today. So let me just grab my big circle punch. I mean, get creative. Whatever you have that's in your stash that you have that you're like, yeah, I totally could use that. So this one, instead of doing a V, I'm just going to punch this part off. Yay, Sherry, you got your stuff. So if I put this back on there, you can see that little cutout. And if I fold these over, I'm going to be able to see this pocket and that there's a pocket there. Make sense? So the first one that I did, you can see the watercoloring. I did that over the whole front of it after I put it together, and then I decided to put paper over the top. So you see the watercolor still coming out the sides. You could do that in the front and the back, however you want to do it. This one I did not watercolor. I simply just cut a piece of 6x6 paper down to 5.5 by 4.25 and just cut it crisscross and put them on there. I'm going to show you that because that's really easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do before I show you how to put the paper on and cover it is where to put the glue or the tape or whatever you're going to use. Wet glue works really well. So does this double-sided sticky tape. I have little rolls of this of about 20 to 30 feet for $1.50, and then I have this ginormous roll of 60 feet for $7. So this saves you a lot of money if you want to buy this one. It's in the shop. So think qualitycrafts.com and you'll be able to find it there. The first pocket is going to be this one on top of there. So you're going to flip it and you're going to just put tape on the 3 sides to create your pocket. Yay, Wanda got her stuff too. Now this would be a really great time if you guys have the 1/8 inch instead of this 1/4 inch. You could put bigger tags down in your pockets, but I only have the 1/4 inch, so I'm going to go with that. You can also use wet glue like I did in the other ones and put it a lot closer as well. So once you have all 3 of your tapes on there, yay, Barbara! I know there were a couple of mix-ups from somewhere in the middle of the video where we were doing a drawing and somebody said they wanted a joy something, and so I picked up the first thing that had joy on it and it wasn't the right thing. So if you ever have a problem that you get something you shouldn't have or whatever, just let me know. I love to have a chance to fix it. And then I'm going to line this up as best I can. Sometimes I like to stand up so I can get the gist of it. That's pretty close. All right. So that should create a pocket right there. Before we have our stuff done, maybe we can just see if we can try to put one in there. Yep, that'll work. So there's the first pocket. The next one is going to be this one coming over and this one coming over. So you're going to want to put glue or tape right there to seal the bottom. You could even make extra little pockets. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So this is on the bottom, sealing the bottom of our pocket here. Hey, Justine. Okay. So there's a pocket right there. You could cut this off right here and just have this sideways pocket if that's the way you want to do it. There's so many variations to this, it just blows my mind. Make it your own. Like seriously, if you just want that so you can pull your pieces in and out, you know, that makes it a lot easier. You could leave just that one piece there. But I'm going to flip mine over. I'm going to put it right on the bottom. But if I put it on the bottom, you're going to notice that it's going to come up right here. So what I usually do is I tape down the bottom first, and then I use a little wet glue under here. But if you don't want to do that, you can put your tape there as well. I just don't want my tape to go up so high because I mismanaged my calculations. A roll of glassine. That sounds cool. What'd you use it for? Alright, so I'm gonna just flip this over here. And then like I said, it's way easier for me to just take wet glue and tuck it in there. But you can always leave that open and leave it as another little like side pocket. That's totally up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and just glue that down. All right. Okay. So here's the next step for filling it in. Let's talk about covering it with our paper first. We can fix those later. Super quick, super easy way to cover this. This is now the front, like a regular 5.5 by 4.25 card base. So that's all you're going to need to cover it. Now, if you're cutting this out, you're going to want to put your paper on over the top and cut it again. I'll show you what I mean. So keep that in mind when you're making yours. That's why you always watch somebody make one all the way through so you can see the additions and changes you can make on your own, and then try it on your own so that you can have in your mind how it's going to look and what you want it to come out like. So I want some of mine to be this pink. I'm going to pick 2 different colors. That's pretty. I like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these down. I want a little white border on mine. So I'm going to cut it to 5.25 by 4. Five and a quarter by 4 will give us a little bit of an edge. And we're going to cut this. See the white edge when I do that? Because I took 1/4 inch off, it's going to go a little white all the way around. Now we're just going to cut this in the crisscross like I mentioned before. Corner to corner. And I don't like to have to measure, so I'm just going to try to hold these together as I go. You could washi tape it together, or you could just measure it, you know, halfway in between. Whatever you want to do. I just think this is easier for me. I'm going to eyeball it up. Put this right in the half. That might be tricky for some, so go ahead and tape it together if you need to. Washi tape's great because it's going to come right off. Okay, and then you've got your 4 corners. So one's going to go up here. Okay, one will go down here. And if you're making 2 at a time, you've got the 2 pieces that are going to go here. But I'm going to mix this up by putting my pink in there as well. So I'm going to cut this the same. So here we're going to do this again, guys. If you missed the first one, $5 1/4 by 4. So we cut off that extra quarter so we get that white border we're looking for, and then cut it in halves, corner to corner. Notice how when I slide mine, because I don't want to get it caught on the corner, I slide mine over and I cut like into it part ways. I'm going to do this one slowly so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so instead of cramming it straight down onto the point right here, I'm going to go in a little ways, go up, and then all the way down. That way I'm not banging on that point. Sometimes if you have a dull blade or something, that can really mess things up. So if I take these out, I can alter these, and now I've got pink and teal and blue. I've got other colors that I can pick from to decorate with now. And I can even use these scrap papers on another card or to help embellish this. So I'm going to save these. And you've got a little bit of extra paper here too as well. So I'll set those aside. And now we're going to glue these down. I'm going to use my ATG, but you can use wet glue or whatever you want. Just remember that on this side, because I already cut my little thing out right there, I'm going to have to go over the top of that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my glue on, or my tape on, I should say. I'm using ATG for mine. I'm just going to put that on. And then I'm going to try to cut that again. Alright. I don't know if this is going to fit in there. We shall see. So if you're going to do a big cut in yours, you're going to want to make sure that you go ahead and put your paper down first and then do your cutting. I'm going to peel off my part that's got the tape on it. A lot of times I show you guys things the hard way, don't I? That's so that you can avoid the mistakes. This one might not even fit in there. If it doesn't, then I'll have to pop in another one. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. And it worked. I got a little tear mark there, but I can always cover that up by putting tags and stuff in it, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. There's my first piece. Don't forget, if you can't remember where to find us, just think qualitycrafts.com. That will take you to the website, and that'll show you, there'll be a little tab there to get you to any place that you need to go. So if you're looking for the blog, that's there. If you're looking for how to get on Patreon, that link is there. If you want to get to the Amazon links of products I recommend, there's a link for that there. There's also a link for the Patreon and for all... Wow! Justine Stone, how nice of you! There's also a link there for the actual YouTube, not YouTube, well, YouTube too, that's there in the banner, but Facebook page. So if you forget how to find us, you can go to qualitycrafts.com and you can find that there. Justine Stone says, just love your channel and you too, ladies. Thank you, sweetie. So she used what they call the super chat. It's a little icon right underneath where you're typing your comments. And it looks like a little dollar bill sign. That way you can leave your little note of anything that you want to say, and also it's a one-time donation to our community. So thank you, Justine Stone, for supporting this community, which is also, I might add, drama-free and commitment-free. Some groups that you join on Facebook, you have to commit to doing so many swaps or so many this or so many that. You don't have to do that with Quality Crafts. Just be there, hang out, be inspired, inspire others, join in what you can and what you want to join in. We're not going to hold you to expectations of anything. So the next thing we're going to do is just do random size cuts of white paper or colored paper, whatever you want to put in yours, to put in as your tags. This is really flimsy, so I'm not going to use these for my tags because I don't think that would work out really well. And you can't go a full cut because we've got that tape in there that's going to steal about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch on either side. So the widest you can go would be, if this is 5 1/2, would be 5 inches, and that would be pushing it. So I would say go 4 1/4 or 4 1/2 to make sure that you can get it in there. So I think what I'm going to do is just make my first one at 4. And my second one, I have a little bit more leeway because it's folded from the outside edges. So we'll be good with that. Although I'm not going to make it 5 1/2. I think I'll make it maybe 4 1/2. Also, you're going to notice there's going to be some sizes of these, like this will go in here, and it'll go down about that far. Now you have to decide if you want yours to hang off the edge or if you want it equal. If you want it equal, put it into where you think it's going to be and then cut it across the top following the back of your card. That's the easiest way to do one without having to figure out numbers and measuring, because I know how much you guys love measuring. I'm going to put one more in there. So that one will probably stick up a little bit further. Maybe I don't want it to. Maybe I want them all to be the same. I'll show you how to do tags as well. The little tags I used were just rectangles and circles, and that's it. Super easy stuff. So now I've got these two. And some of my tags here, I just put little strips of the colors that matched, and then some little embellishments. Some of them I put circles. So these are circles right here, this brown, cut in half and then glued together just over the edge of this paper so that it makes that little ledge. These ones right here were just a piece of paper, like a square, folded in half, and then I used my tiny attacher from Tim Holtz to just staple them on there. If you don't have the tiny attacher, get a tiny little mini stapler from the dollar store, or you can use a regular stapler. It really doesn't matter. Let's see if we can use some of these. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one, because it's already got the little perforated edge there. And I'm going to cut 2 of them. The final card size, if you don't put anything sticking off the edges, like what I'm talking about right now, because like this is going to stick off the edge a bit. I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to attach it. Would be just a regular card base, an A2 card base that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Depending on how much you make your embellishments stick out. So that one's going to go there, and if I have them in the same pocket, I don't want them overlapping. So I'm going to use this one to see where do I want to put that one. Maybe I want that one to be like on this side. And I want them to be kind of the same, so I'm going to measure it right there and say that's where I want it to be and hold on to it, and then I'm going to tiny attach that. right? And then so those are going to be the ones that I stick in the back here. And that way one sticks up and the other one sticks up, but they're on different sides. So you can see them both. And then what I did was just add a little bit of white paper with some sentiments. So you see here where I have the thank you, I just put that right on top of that tag. And that's it. So we just need a little bit of white, which I have an extra little piece of scrap white right here. So I'm going to want to cut that about right there. And if I fold it over, then I've got two. And if I open it up, then I know right where to cut that. And then we could put sentiments on there. I did not pick a sentiment stamp today. Shears. Here's one tip. Like if you don't have a lot of pattern paper, if you want to get something that looks similar to this, take out some of your colored paper and a stamp and some Versamark. Dip your stamp into the Versamark and stamp it on the plain paper and let it dry, and it'll come out darker like this. So you can make your own background paper like that. And you can use any stamp and do any pattern on that paper that you want. Let's see if we got some ones on this one. This one's kind of tiny. I don't have a lot of room. This one is really falling apart too. It's been taped. Let's just go ahead and rip this one off. Oh my, they taped it right to the darn thing. I wonder why it won't come out. That's odd. Okay, let's see what we got in here. We can do a little happy birthday one. Oh, these are really tiny. Hoping your birthday is an event to remember. That one's just gonna fit. Let's go ahead and do that. Barbara, keeping you young. Oh, and you know what? I brought home my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, but I left it upstairs, so we're going to go ahead and use StazOn again. This is a new stamp. Sometimes with my new stamps, especially like first video I ever saw, I'll use a really fine grit sandpaper and just sand right over the top of it, and you're like, oh, that's going to wreck your stamp, Jen, don't do it. But seriously, if you just go over it a little bit until it turns like a foggy, see that? It's almost like it's like dusty. That'll sometimes help you pick up the ink a little bit better. And they call that seasoning the stamp. So I'm just going to do that for this one. I don't think I had to, but look at that. Hoping your birthday is an event to remember. So I'm going to put that one on there. What's the first video I ever saw? You know, I don't know for absolute sure, but I think if I had to guess, it was probably the Frugal Crafter. That's my guess. Because she's the one that really hooked me on doing things on a budget. And I like that idea. Thanks, Kay, for backing me up on that tip. It doesn't wreck the stamp, does it, Kay? Maybe on the other one we'll just put a simple happy birthday. So I'm pretty sure that one's on here. Yeah. I'll show you on this one, Connie. She wants to know how I seasoned it. So sometimes when you use some ink on a brand new stamp, you don't get the stamping that you wanted. It turns out funny, or it turns out, you know, spotty. So I use a real fine grit paper, sandpaper, and I'm going to show you what it looks like before I start. See that? It's clear. And I'm just going to go over it until it looks a little cloudy or foggy, or what you might call dusty. All right, and then I'm going to use the ink. I watched the Frugal Crafter for a long time until she started doing a lot of painting. And I'm not a painter. I'm not against it. I don't paint. So I kind of stopped watching her for a while. She's a great painter. She just leaves me in the dust. Alright, so those are the two that I'm going to put on those tabs. I think I'm going to use the ATG. I found Jen because Barbara found me because she wanted to make vellum butterflies, and I had a video on that. Cool. Elise found Jen through Mamie's recommendation. That's so cool. Who else did? You said also. I should probably go up. Lindsay does the sandpaper trick. I probably learned some of my stuff from her too. Oh, Connie Johnson did. A friend recommended. One of Jen's 5-minute making a card. Those are cool. Through Facebook? Yeah. I like Facebook. Alright, I think I'm going to put this one behind. That looks pretty good. And the happy birthday one right in the front. Yeah, some of the cheaper stamp sets will do that. It won't hold the ink as well, but if you season it with the sandpaper. Sorry, I was really concentrating on that, I guess. Cute! Then your stamp should work just fine. And then you can stamp stuff all over the place too. You could do this completely white and stamp the whole darn thing if you want. You don't have to use pattern paper either. But then, like, if you want something to go across the front, that's when I would use some more of the colored paper. So I'm going to find another sheet that will kind of match, pull these two together. Like, that would be super cute because it's got the that color in it. That would work. The blue would work because it's got just a little bit of blue in there. That's really cute. I think I'm going to use that one. So because this is so flimsy, pattern paper usually is, but sometimes you can get patterned cardstock as well. I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto a piece of heavier cardstock. If I lay it over the cardstock that I'm wanting to put it on, then I have kind of a guide to see where I want to put my tape. It might not be perfect, but at least it'll be really close. So if you get some accidental glue on there, especially from ATG, just rub it to your finger with your finger till it kind of balls up and just brush it off. Not a problem. then just cut it off the edge. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to make my cardstock sturdier, my pattern paper sturdier. And I want to put something across here like this. Not quite that big though. Probably I'll cut that in half, I think, because I'm going to want it to kind of bow up here. But yeah, that's too wide. Let's go ahead and cut that down a little bit. Cut a piece off and save that because I might use that for the next card that I make with that pile I'm keeping over there. That's a much better size, so I could make that go up. That's about where I want it. Alright, let's see. I'm centering it, and then I'm going to bend the ends over. About the same. Eyeball it up, doesn't really matter. And then bend them out. And then I'm gonna, so I want it to go this way, but I was trying to get my measurements by going over the top. So when you're done with that, just straighten it out and make it go under, and then pull that other one back out front. Okay, so then you get something that looks like this, and then that can go on here. If you want to push it all the way to the edges, you can. It'll still stand up. But if you keep it in here, push it in a little bit so it bubbles up like the one that I did. Let me show you what I mean. If you push it in a little bit further like this so it bubbles up, do you see how my little, these actually are on top of each other? Then it'll fold flat. So you would have to fold these, you'd have to put these quite a ways in there. So it's flat like this. So you'd put it like right there. You glue it down and then you'd let it pop up. So push it flat, then glue it right there, and then let it go. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to use wet glue so that I can move it around a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean. So just put the wet glue on these outside tabs so that you're not gluing anything down that you don't want to glue down. Find approximately where you're going to want it. Push these two tabs down so that they're flat. And put it down where you want it. Okay, so it's pushed flat. I'm going to move mine over just a little bit. That's closer. Wet glue gives you a little bit of time to wiggle things around if you don't like exactly where it is. Then hold that down, let it dry a little bit, and then it'll pop up. Do you see how it popped up? But when you want to mail it, you can push it down and it'll go flat. Alrighty? And so right now I've got this nice little bowed stuck out thing for the card, which looks really cool. Hey Cindy. I went kind of quick on that. I hope that was easy enough to follow. And then we need a little bit more paper to go across there. It's like maybe an inch or an inch and a half wide. We could put another big centering on there if we want. Or some flowers or whatever. I'm thinking maybe I'll do flowers. Maybe I won't even put the white on. Nope, I'm going to put the white on. I'm going to go about an inch and a half and see if that works. I don't want it to be too wide. Yeah, maybe an inch and a quarter. There we go, about an inch and a quarter. And then I'm going to cut it. I want to have a little bit around the edge, so I'm going to cut it about right there. So if I line up the edges, the top and the bottom, and squeeze the edge here, then when I open it, I know that line's going to be relatively straight. That's a little hack, so you don't have to use your trimmer if you don't want to. And then that will go right on the front. And I'm going to go ahead and just put that one down on the front because I'm going to put some flowers on this one. Now, I'm not worried about mailing mine flat. I don't care. But if you are, make sure all your embellishments, when you get them all in there, aren't hanging over the edge. or it can be flattened like the other one. Like these are hanging over the edge, so now you're going to need an extra envelope. If you don't want that to happen, then make sure yours stick underneath the thing. I'm not worried about that. I'm just having fun creating it. Okay, I'm going to squish that down and try to get it right in the middle if I can. Or close to it. Alright, and then I'm going to have to make some flowers. So I think what I'll do is I'll keep some of the blue. I don't know if I'm going to make another card out of this. Maybe I'll just use these. This one? That'll work. Okay, there's another. There's a pink. And then maybe a couple out of this fun color, so we can mix and match. Oh, Mr. Mouse fell. Has anyone not been introduced to Mr. Mouse? Mr. Mouse is one of our little, what do you call him? Mascots. Because he is trying to push his little whisker back through so I don't lose it. Get in there. Anyway, he's wearing the same hat that I am. How adorable is that? So that's Mr. Mouse, in case you didn't know. No stress measuring. I like that. Let's use this one because we didn't use this one on the last couple cards I did. Do a couple of each one because I'm not sure how I want this to look yet. And I'll probably want to put a gem in the middle of these to make them stand out more. I may pile some of them together. We'll see how it looks. Yes, his teeny tiny hat. That little mouse, somebody tatted that little mouse and made that teeny tiny hat. So I paid a lot of money for him and I think it was worth it because it looks identical. It is pretty awesome. I want to, these are very thin, so I want to be careful with them, but I want to roll them so that they have like some texture and some movement to them. So let's see. My large roller. And I need my mouse pad. That's not it. Oh, you guys, I got big boxes over here. Look, big boxes. New stuff coming in. You're going to want to be at the January 12th sale. I'm just saying. It's going to be fun. So all I do is just roll it around so it loosens up those fibers in the paper and lets it roll and become more of a three-dimensional. And the more you roll it, the harder you push on it. And be careful because this is pretty thin stuff. The more it'll roll up. So I want like one for underneath like this so we can double it up. So one will be a little bit more rolled than the other. It'll create more of a 3D effect. Alrighty, so we've got one of them. We're going to want at least one of these. And I'm thinking pearl right now. I might change my mind after I get them out, but I'm thinking pearls would be really cute in there. So I've got some colored pearls, but none of those really look like my colors. So I just go regular white pearls, and that would be pretty. And I'm going to go with the larger ones. Here we go. And then I'm going to put mine together. I'll probably add more, but let's just see how these look together. I have tried quilling. I've done a few little things. And I have the stuff for quilling, but I never really got heavily into it, so I don't have anything to show you that I've created. But I think it's really cool. Okay, so this one. Right there, maybe. I'll put this one together. I might get away with just doing 3. Mr. Mouse is so stinking cute. Thanks, Deborah. I saw him and I was like, oh, can you make a hat that looks like this? And I showed her, you know, my hat. And she's like, oh yeah. And I'm thinking it's not going to turn out like my hat, but it might be close, right? And it's identical, which is, to me, is just absolutely just crazy. I think I'm going to just spread them out just like that. I could spend the next half an hour playing around with flowers and adding more and doing leaves and stuff, but I think that that looks really cute. Oh, by the way, my friends, my sister calls Facebook face hole, which is a pretty accurate description since we all get lost in it from time to time. And she finally joined face hole. I'm telling ya, she's a funny lady. I wish I could get her to move nearer to me so she could be on my videos all the time. You guys would be cracking up. So that is really cute. And then I've incorporated all the colors, so everything matchy-matchy, just like we like it. So all kinds of other stuff could be put on there. Just totally up to you guys. We could put some colors on here. You know what? We could use some of these extra flowers too. That'd be cute. Just put a couple extra flowers on there. Yes, Jamie Ladua. That is my sister. Any less bulky half pearls? Oops. I don't really know of any less bulky half pearls. I just buy the regular ones. You could probably make some of your own. Sequins are fun, yeah. That's another alternative. And I won't put pearls on those, obviously, because I'm going to put those back in there. You can make your own little pearls using Nouveau. Let me see if I can get some out here. I'm pretty sure I have some. So I'm going to put one in here, and I'm going to put one in the front pocket, because I didn't make one for the front pocket yet. But there, now I've got one in each pocket. That's cute. And we could even put some over the top if we wanted more of these flowers to show right on the top of that. Okay. What was I gonna show ya? Putting that in there. The Nouveau, where did I put those? Okay, so depending on what you want, you can get also this stuff. Liquid pearls will make a drop as well. So get yourself some like glue dot paper that's already been used, or wax paper, or something that's going to be nonstick. You can even do it right on your craft mat. Thanks, Carolyn. So you could go ahead and just use, this one is white opal, and it's liquid pearls. And you can go ahead and make your own. You can make them really tiny. You can smear them around and make them a lot flatter. Make them whatever size you want. And these, if you smack it down on the table, then the little peaks will disappear. And you can make any kind of sizes you want, and they're a lot smaller. And then let them dry, and you can peel them off and glue them on. Lori, thanks for coming. Love the fancy fold card you are making. I appreciate that, my friend. So Nouveau actually will do that too. I think Nouveau is known for not having the peaks. Like if you put it on there, I'm pretty sure that the peaks will take care of themselves. Like they'll just fall on their own. I'm going to do some little teeny ones and see what happens with that. Nouveau. So N-U-V-O. This one, N-U-V-O. This one is Silver Moon Dust. So these will turn silver, even though it looks like it might be clear. This one I also have is a gold. Oh, and that one, my diamond's falling out. Glitter drops. Anyway, this one is called Honey Gold. Let's see if I can get... I think if I just do a glue dot, it'll stick. The Nouveau drops will also make the icicles. If you missed the icicle video, you might want to go back and check that one out. Yeah, that'll stay. These will make the icicles, and they'll still be flexible and be able to move them. You cannot use stickles, I found, because they just flake off. They just dry and flake, so not the best kind. And so here are the Nouveau ones. Do you see? I should have showed you a little bit closer. But you can already see how the little tips, they've already taken care of themselves and rounded themselves out. Cool, right? And so those will dry silver. Oh, let me show you with the gold how they look when you just do tiny ones. They look like little Hershey Kisses. And if you just let them sit, this is what I made with the silver ones. Do you see the little tips? They don't look rounded like the other ones, do they? But that's what I did with the other ones, and they rounded themselves out just sitting there. They're already settling some. Yeah, the first ones, those are liquid pearls. The gold and the silver are Nouveau drops. So if you're looking for something that's thinner than and softer than a regular half pearl, I would recommend something like that. I really like the Nouveau drops. I like the liquid pearls. I use the Nouveau more, I think. And so you just have to set these aside and let them dry. And then you'll be able to peel them off and glue them on wherever you want to put them. So let me set these over. I got a mess here. I got to put some of this stuff away. Are we back? Did it work out okay? It told me I was completely shut down on one end. So I don't know if this is going to combine into one stream or if it's going to, I don't know. That's so strange. Okay. Well, I redid it. I hope that didn't like totally throw us off. But anyway, we are almost to the end of the video, so that's okay. Man, it just seems like I've been eaten alive the last few weeks with technical difficulties on this side. Never lost me. I just restarted it. Hopefully that just turns out to be totally fine. Awesome. All right then. Let's go ahead and put these guys back together so we can see what we've created and what we got our ideas from. Scoot all this stuff over because I'll probably put these papers in my extra pile. And my stamps away so I don't lose them. All right. This one went in the thank you. That's a wide one, so that's going in the first pocket. And there's another thanks. That's a shorter or a smaller one, so that's going in the back pocket. Because remember, we used the wide tape, so there's going to be less a space in the back pocket than there is in the front. Bye, Kathy. We'll see you later. This one was in there. And then this one, you are my boy and you are loved. We're going to go ahead and put a couple in here in the back. That's the one that I cut even, which makes it a little bit more difficult to find the pocket. Don't do that. It's just easier not to cut that one like that. The next garage sale is next weekend. It will be the 12th. January 12th. Hope to see you guys there. I've got big boxes in here that I got to go through tonight. Got some new stuff trucking in. Or maybe some old new stuff. Depending on if you've purchased from me before. So I've just got all mine tucked right back in there. These are the two that are on the thumbnail that I created beforehand. And this is the adorable one we created today together. So we've got a couple of cards that go in here. And then the base. And like I said, this one that we created together, this one will fold down flat. And we have the pearls in there, but these flowers will actually fold flat too if you just give them a little bit of a push. My tip, if you're going to try to send cards like this that have these pearls and stuff, cut yourself one more 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet of cardstock and put that, mail it just like this flat, and put that on this side. And then slide the whole thing into your envelope. I've had no problem mailing mine like that. Just remember that if you've got extra stuff on there and it's over 1 ounce, you want to put 2, either go in and have it, you know, weighed if you want to do the exact amount, or if you're like me and you've got a roll of 100 stamps, just put 2 stamps on there so the person that you're sending it to doesn't get dinged with extra postage, because that's just considered to be rude. We don't want to do that to our friends. So there's the one that we made today. I think it turned out super cute. It feels like spring. We're going to get like high 30s and 40s this weekend, so it's going to be awesome. Oh, yeah. Jamie, I am a technical difficulty. New old stuff. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys had fun. I love the Free Play Fridays. Next week, we will be, our usual time will be 5 p.m. for the 1 in 10 by Jen on Wednesday. And then we will have our regular Friday Free Play next Friday. But then the hour after will be for patrons only. It'll be the pre-sale. So if you're the kind of person that likes to see all the new stuff that's coming in, or the new old stuff that's coming in, or you want to get in on the deals when I have a bunch of packages that people didn't pay for. I call that the super loot sale, and only the patrons get in on the reduced prices of that stuff. So if you want to do that and you want to help this community stay strong and continue into the future, join us on Patreon. Make your best pledge and be a part of the community, the family that is behind the fact that I can be here with you guys all the time. Oh my gosh, is that bikini weather? I don't think so. Oh boy. So anyway, join us on Patreon if you want to do that. And then that Saturday, so Friday free play, regular time 5 to 6 or 5:45, 6 to 7 patron only sale on the patron page, not here on YouTube. And then on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. will be the regular sale that anyone can come to. Alrighty, so I hope to see a lot of you guys there. And again, qualitycrafts.com if you have any questions, or if you're looking for something in the community that you just simply can't find. And I can't wait to see you guys next video.